Hello guys, welcome to my channel today. On today's episode I have a very exciting group of people that you probably won't guess who I'm with today. So we're in Tokyo, Japan, and today we'll be talking about their journey and their story of entrepreneurship. So without further ado, let me introduce the guys, or let them introduce themselves. Hi guys.
Hey, what up?
So maybe you can introduce yourself starting from the left.
Perfect. Where's the left? Oh,
That's you.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Chisepo.
1 minute.
I'll try. Can't promise. My name is Chisepo, co-founder and CEO of Bosso. Bosso is an e-commerce platform for construction material. We're helping individual home builders and contractors to source building material in an easy way. So the days of going to town to look for a building material are over. All you do is get on your mobile phone, tap while you watch Netflix, and we deliver the building material straight to your construction site.
My name is Wallace. Most people, if you live in Zambia, you probably know my product. Founder and CEO of AfriOnline. One of our products is our free delivery. We're trying to build an ecosystem and raise capital to bring back to the country. And I came here with my last born. I brought him here so you can see
What the world looks like.
Yes, a bit of exposure. So that at least when it goes back to Kalingalinga,
Yes.
there's something to show for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we've said, guys, Tokyo is very far away from home. Maybe you could just explain a little bit further what exactly you're doing here and how you found yourselves here.
Yeah, there's a program by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, called Meet the Toshikas. So what the UNDP is trying to do is get more capital into certain markets like Zambia, Angola, and South Africa. Most investors usually go to the big four, which is Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, South Africa. But they wanted to focus on diamonds in the rough, if I could put them that way, which is Zambia, Angola, and then because South Africa is close by, they picked South Africa as well. So the Japanese have also been interested in investing in Africa for a long time, but they've not known how to really get into technology startups. So UNDP was trying to bridge that gap for them. So they ran a competition where 265 technology startups competed, and they picked 6 winners. So we were one of the 6 that they picked. So 2 from Zambia, 2 from each of the other 2 countries. And AfriOnline and Bosso were the 2 companies picked from. So AfriOnline really had the privilege of going alongside Bosso to Tokyo.
Yeah. That's very interesting, and congratulations, obviously, for winning and being here.
Thank you.
Probably wasn't easy.
It was easy for me.
So, what was the process like for this competition, in the background? Because right now, I'm saying congratulations because you're here in Tokyo, it looks good, but what did you go through to get to this stage?
Maybe he went through a lot. I just showed up and I was picked.
Got picked. Okay.
So
Your product's that good?
product is used a lot in Zambia. But yeah, I mean, other than showing up, I had to go through a couple of events that were obvious. But there was a lot of pitching. There was a lot of workshops, boot camps. This process has taken more than 6 months.
Okay.
So we started this in February. Now we are getting into September. To probably go down all the way to
End of September.
End of September. But so investor engagements, they last long because I know that most people assume it's an instant thing once you start thinking of raising capital. But they will extend probably for another year. So it's a long-term thing. But the preliminary preparation and process took about 6 months or so. Yeah.
So, you guys are obviously special. Yeah.
100%.
You seem to be built different. And,
100%.
So what really makes you stand out, both personally and also your companies? What do you think makes you stand out?
I think I'll speak for both, and then he can also speak for whoever he wants to speak for. I think for us as Bosso, first of all, we stand out because we've built something niche. There's a lot of startups in the construction space, but there's no startup that has decided to focus on one subsector of the construction industry, which is the housing industry. So we are solving a very important problem. Africa is grappling with a 60 million housing deficit, and that's something we decided to zero in on. Of that 60 million housing shortage, Zambia is trying to deal with 2 million of its own housing shortage. So we think there's a way we can do things faster so that houses are built in an expedited manner, and that's what really makes Bosso stand out. And as individuals, I think what makes the founders and the team of Bosso stand out is, first of all, as a unit, it's difficult to get the experience that we've managed to pack into the founding team at a go. And all the founders are that hungry. So I am a 2-time founder. My business partner is a 3-time founder. My other business partner and I did the previous startup together, so he's also a 2-time founder. And one of the other co-founders worked at the largest cement company in the world, Lafarge. So to find individuals that are driven and that determined and come together is rare. But I think for me personally, I really stand out. I was on his podcast and telling people one time that it's hard to compete against me. Like if I put my mind to something, I could lose right now, but best believe I'm not going back home until I keep trying. Before you know it, you're the one who'll be tired, and I'll tire you out, and then I win. So that's the attitude I've always had from as far back as I started my entrepreneurship journey. And I think that's what has brought me here. It's resilience, really. Yeah, and if I have to speak about our partner, AfriOnline, I think from my perspective, I think these guys, I think they stand out as well because of resilience. It's one of the reasons why we decided as Bosso to partner with them. And we didn't come here because our companies are partnered. It was actually a coincidence that 2 partnering companies got picked to come at the same time. So yeah, AfriOnline and Bosso are working very well together. I think they've made it easy for Bosso to distribute building material to individual home builders. For a while, we were a B2B company and distributed a lot of our building material to hardware stores and construction companies. But once we partnered with AfriOnline Group, their delivery unit has allowed us to distribute products to individuals that are building homes. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add on the differentiation? Like what makes you stand out?
A lot. We stand out because we were able to build a sustainable business in the country through bootstrapping. So basically you start from zero and build a sustainable business that people use on a daily basis. I think that has been one of our biggest achievements, but also the fact that we're able to understand the ecosystem and continue to innovate products that the ecosystem needs. So we don't just build products just because they don't exist. We build products because the ecosystem needs them. So there's a bit of alignment. So there's no misplaced priorities or time wastage, which is what in many cases most startups don't get right, where you just wake up and build a product instead of solving a problem. So I think we've been able to understand what Africa looks like. We've been able to be very quick when it comes to innovating, and also very quick when it comes to deployment of products. And that automatically just puts us in a very good position. It gives us an advantage that we are able to always be ahead. I think other than that, then there's also the obvious idea or resilience, like he mentioned. Self-funding and building successful business is very, very hard. It's almost impossible. The first few years are very difficult, and there's always reasons for you to give up every day. But the fact that we've been able to stay for that long, continue to have market share, and continue to thrive is something to admire.
So how long have both companies been operational?
So we've been operational longer.
Yeah, for how long?
since 2018 during COVID.
Oh, okay.
I think Bosso came in about 4 years later.
Yeah, 2022. We're pretty new. Yeah. I think for us, what has really, despite being new, it's the rate of growth. I think investors loved us because we were able to address a problem people didn't know existed, but the moment we presented a solution, people appreciated it and started jumping on. So I think that spurred quick growth. So I think we've seen over maybe over 10x growth year on year since 2022.
That's really impressive.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
So I know as we keep growing, it becomes difficult to keep maintaining that rate of growth. But as long as we can keep pushing, even 2x, 3x, for me 3x, 5x per year, still make me proud. But for us to double what I've just mentioned makes me even prouder. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned something about the housing market in Zambia, and how there's a deficit and the like. What do you think in terms of, like, if someone were to choose where to invest, do you think Zambia is a place to invest in terms of real estate? Is it a good place? From your own opinion.
So I'll say again, it depends on what you're investing in, because construction is wide, obviously. Real estate in terms of housing, definitely that's a place to invest. But what sort of housing? So I think there's a huge market for mid-range homes and even low-cost homes. The only trouble with low-cost homes is what is the ROI, the return on investment. But then mid-cost homes, I think there's a huge market for those. But also in what areas? I think there's a huge market there's a huge opportunity to redo a lot of homes in certain key areas. Yeah, like the Avondales, the Chelstones, the Kabwatas. The homes there are pretty old, but the areas themselves are key areas to the capital city. And if homes there are redone, that's a huge market, huge opportunity. Also rural areas. I think there are a lot of projects that go on in far-flung areas, but then those areas don't have quality, sustainable and resilient homes. So I think I see an opportunity to go to places like Chipata, Milengi, Miengi, Luapula province.
I actually worked in Milengi.
Right. And those places need great homes.
Yeah.
And if we build proper standard homes, there are school teachers, there are nurses, there are NGO workers that would be happy to live in a high quality home away from the city. And I think that's a way to make people feel that they don't need to even come back and live in Lusaka or in the capital. Yeah, those are the opportunities I see in real estate. Yeah.
So now, you guys mentioned the issue of resilience and the like as one of the qualities that you need in the business. But first of all, I need to know, are these the first businesses you've started? Have you failed before?
I think I failed for the last maybe like 10 years, more than 10 years. I've been in business for more than 17 years. I mean, failing is an order of the day. It's actually something I advise people to normalize, because you need to be able to handle that failure very well and learn from it. Don't beat yourself too much. Give yourself a bit of grace. Pick yourself up and move on. But failing, I mean, I've started probably maybe 5-6 startups. 2 of them have done okay. The others just outright failed. The ones that I have now I can say they're successful startups. They're successful businesses, employing people and creating jobs, all that stuff. But then it comes from a history of failures after failures after failures. And I know failure is frowned upon, and most people assume that it's that you have to win almost immediately, which is a very big misconception when it comes to entrepreneurship, that there's this glory and that comes with that. But you need to prepare yourself for failure. It's inevitable the most important thing is you fail fast, you learn first, and you pick yourself very, very fast, and you move on. Yeah. So it's inevitable. It's
going to fail,
and you should normalize it.
Yeah.
What matters is how you react. But it's coming.
100%.
That's some great words.
Yeah.
What about you, Seppo? How many businesses have you tried? You've tried before?
Yeah, I'm a two-time founder, but even prior to that, I'm sorry. Even prior to that, I had like other businesses I tried. I like to say my first business was the shoe business I did in grade 10.
Okay.
Grade 10, grade 11, I think, right? But then those were really just things I was getting by. My first real business was when I was in college. I built my first startup there. It did pretty well. It got me losing focus in class. Ended up
That's
not
how
really.
you know it's serious.
Then just after leaving college, and then I thought everything was just taking off is when everything crashed.
Oh.
And I had to go back to the drawing board, tried other businesses. I got into fuel distribution. That started well as well. Before I knew it, that business crashed. So I've had so many businesses that have crashed. Others never picked up. Others started well, didn't work. My previous business is the first one that really showed me that there was light at the end of the tunnel, and all I needed to do was just have what I call stay in power. All you do is just remain there. It might look hard, it might take time, but the longer you hold on, the more you get closer to like reaching the light at the end of the tunnel. My last business was Zippos. It was an inventory management system for informal retailers. Zippos did pretty well. Many restaurants and small businesses still use it back home. I had to resign. My friend now runs the business. Bosso is the one that has really picked up fast. So, and Bosso was never going to be Bosso hadn't it been for all the failures and all the lessons that were learned from there. So I knew when starting Bosso what to avoid, what to quickly do, even all the networks and the friends.
That's interesting that you say that. How important do you think networking and maybe mentorship is in business?
I think Wallace has a great answer on mentorship. I'll start with the networking part. Networking is everything. Partnerships. You can't do anything huge on your own. You need to collaborate. Well, you can. The only problem is it will take you a long time. The beauty with collaboration is you ride on the giants of shoulder. You ride on the shoulders of giants, and that allows you to move fast. The cake is too big to eat on your own. You could all have a slice of it and do it fast. And that obviously comes with a lot of trust. You need to be able to trust people. You need to be able to let them trust you. So I advocate for partnerships any day. My last business was a success because I partnered with not only my co-founders, but also all the people that allowed us to get to all the places we go to, the investors, the ecosystem, the other startups, etc. Similarly with Bosso, I think we're thriving because we've got so many partners. Partnered with my co-founders, went on to partner with investors. Some were family members, others were strangers that gave us huge sums of capital. We've now gone on to partner with companies like AfriOnline Group and several other startups. We've also partnered with large organizations. One of the partners I could mention, top of my head, is Chilanga Cement. We've partnered with Chilanga, and that relationship is thriving. So partnerships are everything.
And then maybe you could speak a little about mentorship.
So I feel like mentorship is key because of, according to my experience. So I've got I run a podcast called Mentorship Uncomplicated. And the reason why I started this is because...
Please say that again. What's your podcast?
Mentorship Uncomplicated.
Okay, I'll put the link in there.
Yeah, thank you. So the reason why I decided to do that, it's a very passion project for me. Because I used to receive a lot of requests to mentor people. And one thing I realized is, this is first of all why I call it mentorship are complicated, is because the only way I would want or be interested in mentoring people is by doing the actual tasks or jobs or whatever is required for me to build a business, and then people learn from that. Okay, so I document as much as I can. I tell my stories as much as I can, and then people can pick what they can pick from the experiences that I go through. I'm very honest when it comes to my podcast. I have guests. I've had a couple of times discussions with when we discussed about situations we've gone through, and people can pick from there. That's also the same way I used to get mentored, because every time I used to go to mentors, they would not necessarily tell me how to do things. They would tell me of how they were in the same situations and how they dealt with the situations, and it uncomplicated the whole process.
Hence the name.
Experience. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I call it mentorship uncomplicated, because most people assume if I'm getting mentored by somebody, they're going to tell me what to do. But in many cases, and the reason why you're advised to go to somebody that is probably familiar with what you're trying to do is so that they can give you examples of how they went through the same or similar experience. Okay, so mentorship is very important, especially in business. The reason why it's important is because there's this, like I said, misconception and the way entrepreneurship is glorified. That is not the truth. It's a very draining task. It's a very taxing responsibility. I'll call it responsibility, because you're responsible for a lot of things and a lot of people. And it is not what you think it is. Let me just tell everybody that it is not what you think it is. It will take a lot of your mental, and it's important that you mentally prepare for that. Because the reason why most people give up is because it's not because they're going through a hard time, it's because they thought they would not go through that hard time. You get? Because what people do, especially successful people, is they discuss about the success part. Success is very public. It's a very public thing. You can see it. But success is a byproduct of the process and the person. Okay? So unless the person is able to talk about the process and include the good and the bad, you can't learn. And I believe that anytime we do not talk about the bad things that you go through or the hard things that you go through, you deny the people the opportunity to learn. Okay? That is why genuine mentorship is important. And genuine mentorship is more of what not to do versus what to do. Okay? Because in many cases, if you make similar mistakes, chances are very high that you will end up in the same position. Okay? So I believe mentorship is very key, and it should be highlighted more. If I had some power, I would teach mentorship in schools, because it also builds your thinking capacity, your mental capacity to handle things. Because mentorship is just about preparation. Okay, they prepare you and they tell you this is how it is, especially in markets like Africa. You'll be ready for it. It's actually not hard. It's just that our psyche is not ready to go through such taxing tasks.
What I see is that there's a lot of people who need mentorship, and then there's a lot of people who can offer mentorship, but they're not, maybe they don't have the platform, or they don't know how to connect to people who need mentorship. Because there's also people who know a lot of things and can help a lot of people.
I think it's not only about platforms are there, but are people really ready to open up? Because they'll be very vulnerable when you're mentoring people. You have to be ready to tell them the good, the bad, and it has to mirror your experiences. Okay. The problem with people is that people are okay with telling the good part of the story, but not the bad part of the story. And mentorship really is more about the bad part of the story. So you don't have a lot of people that are willing to tell you, oh, I got into some bad debt, and I went through this and this and this, and this is how maybe I should have avoided it. People don't want to talk about that. People want to talk about how they woke up at 6 a.m., they went to the gym for an hour, they read this book, they meditated. You get, and yeah, we might talk about that, which is okay, but what I care about is what I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
You get, because whatever I should be doing is already so out there. People are already talking about it. Tell me what you think I shouldn't be doing. You get such things. So I think it's about the guys that are willing, and if you care, you automatically become a mentor, because there's some entrepreneurship is so hard. And if you really have a passion for it and care for it, you will automatically just want to guide the person that's coming, the next generation of entrepreneurs.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So it's not like if you we just need to have enough people that actually care for it, and they care about the guys that are coming up, because it's very sad and it's hard when you go through that stuff. And you can see these guys are coming the same way and they're making the same mistakes, but you just decide to sit with that information. Okay?
Yeah.
If you care enough and you're passionate enough, you will want whatever ecosystem you belong to thrive.
And I think that if I have to add just on the point that you've mentioned, it's in the best interest of everyone to want to see their ecosystem thrive. Because if, let's say, you, Bono, are sitting on capital and you're in Zambia, and now you're looking for where to put your money, if the ecosystem is thriving, it's good for your capital to be in an ecosystem that is thriving. Because now you know, saying I can invest in kids that are well mentored and they'll multiply my capital. Yeah, but then if we are sitting in an ecosystem that has limited skilled resources, limited great businesses, limited good opportunities, no matter how well you're doing, your capital remains limited, or even your experience remains limited. So it's in the best interest of all of us to make sure that the businesses we are building in our ecosystem thrive. The individuals in our ecosystem are well-skilled people, because your businesses need well-skilled people, So I always believe in passing it forward. Just before we came here, we had the opportunity of talking to a Zambian that built Zona. His name is Brad. Very good individual. And he mentored us pretty well for the duration of the program. We learned a lot about his experiences building the business that we all knew and loved, whose name has now changed, obviously, to Tilt now. Most people don't know. The business is now called Tilt. It does something totally different from what Zona did those days.
And you can see how much Brad cared.
Yeah, Brad really cared.
If you have, and it's automatic. I mean, the guy has so much love for entrepreneurship that even when he's talking to us, you can feel this guy cares about the next steps you're about to make.
Yeah.
And he's just giving you very authentic, real advice on the do's and don'ts. I mean, it's crazy how. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
it's crazy how those conversations were so intimate that you could feel that this guy has the best intentions at heart. And I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what mentorship is all about.
Yeah.
Mentorship is not complicated. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just about to give a shout out to someone else that has really given himself to the ecosystem, Simunza from Bongo Hive.
Yeah. Simunza from Bongo Hive?
Yeah, amazing individual.
For those who don't know, what does Bongo Hive do?
So Bongo Hive is a technology hub that it's now a business hub really. It's really started as a tech hub where they would incubate businesses so that budding businesses don't die. Just like an egg. An egg needs incubation in the early days. Chicken sits on it. So in those early days, it benefits from the warmth, the nutrients, and etc. And then until it hatches and is able to stand on its own. That's what Bongo Hive did or does for businesses generally now. So yeah, they run a number of programs for people that are looking for help to kickstart their businesses, to get their businesses to a certain level. Even funding. I think my first investor, or my first significant investor, came as means of introduction from Simunza.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So Bongo Hive is it's a place that I would encourage.
So again, networking is helping.
Yeah.
So now, guys, you have people investing in you right now, and I'm sure you have a vision for your companies. What is the vision in terms of where you're going with these companies, and also what type of impact do you hope to have in your communities or in the areas where you're operating?
So for us, it's very straightforward. So we built quite a bit of IP, basically tech. So our idea is to scale this infrastructure. So Africa has got a problem when it comes to digitized infrastructure. So when I talk about digitized infrastructure, in what we focus on three things. We focus on e-commerce, but then when you focus on e-commerce, you also find yourself focusing on logistics and fulfillment. So you basically want to have spaces where goods can be stored. You want to have a channel where how goods can be distributed, which now is logistics. And you also need to have a way of selling these goods, which is e-commerce platforms. So that's what we're doing, we're building. But then all these solutions have to be digitized. Okay? They have to be very tech heavy. So what we noticed is that we had built all this, and in each country we wanted to go to, there were companies that were doing the same, but they didn't have. They had not really built them vertically the way we have, where they can all work together. So what we're trying to do is scale that across as many African countries as we can. We just expanded to South Africa. We incorporated also in Zimbabwe, and we want to do that in DRC. Third quarter of the year. That's where we're at. But the idea, of course, is to build an African business. We might have started in Zambia, but the idea is to, as much as we are growing in Zambia, to scale out of Zambia and expand our products to different countries, which I think is quite interesting because that's what I believe that with the growth rate that Africa is going through right now, we're perfectly aligned in our specific industries to do that. So I think we're on the right track.
What about for Bosso?
I mean, for us from the very beginning, we were deliberate about building a business that solves the continent's problems. Yeah, so even our tagline clearly says it, Africa's construction partner. So we knew the problem we are solving is not a Zambia problem. But obviously charity begins at home, so it's always easy to start and try from home, make your mistakes from home, and then once you know and have built something that that works, then easily take it to other markets. And I like to say that most of Africa is like Zambia. Most investors usually look at the big four, which is South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Egypt. But most of Africa actually looks like Zambia. Most countries are not as big as these big four. So if you make it work in Zambia, then you've built a product that can easily probably work in the remaining 48 countries, right? Yeah. Is it no 50 countries? Because it's 54 countries. Yeah. So most countries are like the 50 countries. Of course, there are some nuances here and there, but majority of things are like that. So that's why we like Zambia, and we like it as well because it's centrally located in SADC, so it has the most neighbors in SADC. That means we make it work here. We can easily export it to most of the countries surrounding us. And for us, impact means being able to increase or contribute to the increase in number of houses we are building per year. At the moment, Zambia is supposed to be building 100,000 homes per year to meet our deficit, but we're only building 30,000 homes. We're really falling far behind. But if we can build technologies and integrated systems that allow us to encourage people to build faster and increase that number even to 50,000 homes per year, for us, that's going to be a win. And if we can export that technology to other markets that need it, like Tanzania, South Africa itself, Angola, Mozambique, then I see that as a win not only for Bosso, but even just for Zambia. We would be proud as a country to say that we built something in Zambia that is now being used by other markets. We tried to launch in Kenya, we put that launch back, so now we're positioning ourselves to launch in either South Africa or Tanzania in the next 12 months. So we're going to choose one of those two markets and launch there soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'm a strong believer in like the youth guys, like in terms of the youth empowerment and like what's your take on the youth, like the role that they'll play in this entrepreneurship thing and developing Africa in just some brief words?
I think both of our companies are predominantly made up of young people. The founders themselves are young. We're also lucky to have co-founders that are much older than both of us, who usually are the guiding light in our companies. We're the more optimistic ones in our companies because we're too excited and have the energy. Yeah. But then he's got a co-founder that's much older than him. Similarly, I've got two co-founders much older than me who are more pessimist. So there's that fine balance that is needed. But also at the same time, our companies are made up of young people that have all the energy, all the time, nothing to lose at this point. And that's what fast-growing companies, technology companies need. And I think I'll just really encourage young people to know that there's nothing that can stop you at this point. There's so many opportunities specific to technology. Technology has so many opportunities. You can work from anywhere in the world. Today, I've got young friends in the 20s that work for Silicon Valley companies and are earning thousands of dollars per month, sitting in Lusaka, coding from their bedrooms, remote work, earning like $5,000 a month. So I don't see why young people can't jump on all these opportunities. Yeah.
Do you have anything to add on that?
When it comes to the youth?
Yeah.
I think first of all the youth have to accept that it's their responsibility to change and to create today's and tomorrow's Africa. There's nobody to leave this to, so they have to do it the same way we are doing it. And first thing is you have to accept that you're not in the best position. I mean, look at the infrastructure here. Look at the infrastructure back home. You're complaining about electricity.
Yeah.
When you hear, you think about different problems.
Here they're able to power their toilets with electricity.
So you experienced the Japanese toilet.
Oh man, computerized toilets, right?
So we need to be real with ourselves and accept that we are not doing well. We also need to accept the fact that we're the only ones that can do something about it. So it's your responsibility. Don't look at your colleague or your friend and think,
And this is the part where you look in the camera and you tell them this is your responsibility.
So it is your responsibility to change. To change your country and to change your community.
Yeah.
Do what you can to change your community. Stop looking at your leaders. Stop looking at your parents. Their time is gone. It is you now. And the minute you start doing something, you don't have to change the world. Change your community. Eventually, it will trickle down to the world. The minute you start doing that, first things first, it will make you feel better about yourself. It will give you purpose. And the best gift a human being can ever get from the universe or from God is the sense of purpose. The minute you feel like you're doing the right thing and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that will fulfill you. So stop running away from responsibilities. Gather some golden balls.
But don't even hide the truth from it. It will also make you rich.
Oh yeah. You get some money.
Yeah,
you travel around. I mean, you like us out here. Because money is a byproduct.
Yeah. The thing is, many people, many youths and many other people actually will tell you that there are challenges, okay? There's always excuses like there are challenges in their life. But do you think there's any specific challenges by virtue of you being in Zambia? Because I mean, think about it, someone starting a business in Japan or in USA probably has a bit more advantage than you in Zambia. Are there any specific challenges you faced?
Not a bit more, has way more advantage.
I just think every geography has its pros and cons. Obviously, the pros of being in a geography like this one is access to capital, access to networks. But the cons are what we spoke about earlier with Wallace as we were taking a walk. Almost everything has been solved. It's difficult to create impact in a geography like this one. Impact that's going to be appreciated. The cons of being in a geography like ours, Zambia, is certain things are difficult. I mean, energy is a problem, access to capital is a problem. But the pros are that things are so bad that any small innovation you creates significant impact. And that means significant impact for people, but also great returns for you, an entrepreneur, at a very low cost.
Yeah.
With very low or very minimal requirements. I mean, just to launch a business here, the number of tick boxes you have to tick.
Oh, yes.
But then the requirements in Zambia are very few. So every geography has its pros and cons, and you take advantage of what the pros are. You cry about the cons, but nothing will change. Just focus on what the pros are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really great, guys. So now, last question: are you excited about being in Japan? Is there anything you're thinking of doing?
A lot. What do you call the hot spring bath where you go getting
Onsen.
naked? Yeah, the
Onsens,
onsens.
yeah. You wanna go to an onsen?
I want to go to an onsen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have to go.
I'm ready.
It's really refreshing. What about you? Anything?
First of all, I'll start with P1, priority one. Consume as much electricity as I can.
This is someone coming from Zambia where we're having energy problems.
Yeah.
Consume as much electricity as I can, so I leave everything on. My laptop is just fully connected.
No, he does not do that. He conserves
joking.
energy.
But I use that toilet.
Really great toilet, yeah?
But I'm looking forward to a lot of things. So for me, this is like a mini vacation too, because I've been working a lot. And before I head to the last quarter of the year, I want to distress, just take some time back from work. But these trips, I normally use them a lot for inspiration. So I come here, I see a different side of the world, and it motivates me to even do more back home. So that is the most important part of any trip I take to any developed country. The fact that I get inspired and I can go back home with a bit of momentum, build again until momentum dies off.
Yeah.
I leave, I get inspired again. That's how you have to juice yourself up.
I really wish people could, like everyone in Zambia could travel so that they see.
Yeah, and for me, I like to tell people that be very deliberate about travel. Travel doesn't just mean coming as far as Japan. For me, even just before Japan, I forced myself to go to ordinary Livingstone. And I went there.
Lots of people haven't been in the country.
Livingstone, yeah. So, just move and be very deliberate about it. One of the reasons I think Bosso has been able to raise significant capital is because us, the founders, are very deliberate about going to look for capital anywhere in the world. We have no borders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless they tell us we can't get a visa. But if we can, we're going. And so I'm happy to be in Japan, away from the work side, which there's
but
a
it's
lot of
following you. They're calling you.
Right.
I want to see your approval.
Yeah, but we've been working really long hours. It's not strange to check on Wallace at 2 a.m. and he's still awake trying to finish something. And that's the same here. But away from that, I think it's also important for us to take care of our mental health. So we're definitely going to holiday a little here. The onsen, the food has been great. Amazing food.
Food has been great, yeah?
Amazing. I'm very impressed. I've traveled many places, but the food here is really flavorful. The people, the culture, very respectful human beings. There's a lot to learn from these people. I think generally it's been a fulfilling trip. The scenery, the buildings, man, they've done some great work.
One day it will be Zambia.
It has to be. I hope it's in our lifetime.
Sure. So now, guys, where can people follow your journey, your story? What are your handles, your social media?
First things first, use my products. Don't follow me.
Okay.
I want your money more.
Where do they get your products?
So we've got a couple of e-commerce products. The obvious one, Afri Delivery. Another one is called Afri Supermarket. But if you want to get to know about mentorship, follow my YouTube, subscribe, It's called Mentorship Uncomplicated. I've had
Link is in the description, guys.
I've had great conversations with entrepreneurs there, especially startups, and there's quite a lot to learn from there. What else? I don't think you need to follow me on social media. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Use my products or services.
Most important.
Money is more important. And then follow us and subscribe to my YouTube page. There's a lot of gems that you need to pick from there.
Yeah. What about you? What are your handles?
Find us on all social media platforms, everything.
These ones you need to follow. They need to follow it.
We need the likes. So just search for Bosso
On Facebook?
on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. What else is there? We're on everything, to be honest. So yeah, all social media platforms. Just search for Bosso. You'll find us. There's no other Bosso but us, Alpha and Omega.
Amen.
Beginning and the ending.
Everything Bosso.
Everything Bosso.
Zambia is the greatest country in Africa.
And really, Zambia is the greatest country in Africa. That's not a joke. People
We say that all the time, and it's true.
100%. It is the truth. There's no way you're geographically positioned as like that. Peaceful people, peaceful country, etc. Anyway, that's a different story for another day. That's a story for another day. But we are going to make your life easy if you're building. The days of making your car dirty with cement are long gone.
Took something from there.
Exactly. The days of going to town to look for building material are long gone. Just go on your phone. Everything will be delivered to you. Mr. Banda won't lie to you about what the prices are. And if you want us to help you save money to build, we can do that. If you want us to loan you money to build your home, we can do that. There's nothing we can't do in relation to your to building your dream home. So just let us know what it is we can do for you, what help you need for your dream home. We'll help you.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much for taking the time. Just so people know, this is like 10:55, 22 hours. And these guys were like, you know what, we were doing the interview.
Yeah.
And I really thank you for taking the time, guys.
This is normal.
It really was an honor. And I hope people also learn from your experiences and the like.
I think it's just great to meet the Zambian community here. And I think you guys are doing great work. I've been following your YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I learned a lot watching a few things. I know most of the time I'll come to your YouTube channel to watch construction-related stuff.
Yeah.
But my favorite video to date is the Latin dances.
The most recent upload.
Yeah. He had some Latin dances.
I attended the festival. Oh, that's the parade.
Yeah.
And that's the night you guys arrived. No, the next day.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we are grateful for having us on your channel.
No, thank you very much, guys. We can only wish you all the best. And guys, please follow the social media. In fact, maybe now I should be like this. You finally get to see me. So guys, please follow their social media. The link's in the description and also maybe in the first comment. And thank you very much for watching. Until next time, see ya.
Nice. Can I finish giving my social media
please
handles?
continue.
You know we don't cut.
No.
It's supposed to be in the video.
Oh, really? Yeah,
There's no cues here.